Or even better, just use that money on ammunition and training and make myself a better shooter. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to look at another Glock compensator. But this is not your traditional Glock compensator, one that mounts to the barrel. This is a light mounted compensator, the VP Armory compensator for Glock pistols. So first, full disclosure, how did I get my hands on this thing? Well, VP Armory sent it to me back in December of 2023. Now that was actually a pre-release version that they sent me, this thing right here. It is not a prototype variant. It is the same thing that everyone can purchase today on their website. However, I did get this prior to being released so I could get some early thoughts and opinions on it and give it to them, which I did give them my thoughts and opinions on this compensator. However, now I want to give you guys my thoughts and opinions on this compensator and if I think it's worth it for you to go and spend your hard-earned money on. Now, where did the idea for this compensator come from? Why make a frame-mounted compensator for pistols that can readily accept barrel-mounted compensators, even ones that exist like the Radian that are 50-state compliant? Well, this was originally engineered and designed for the Beretta PX4 Storm. The Beretta PX4 Storm does not allow for a barrel-mounted compensator because it has a rotating barrel design. So, the frame-mounted compensator design, whether it's light or simply fully frame-mounted, was the answer. Now, VP Armory offers 3 variants for the PX4. They offer a X300 mounted variant, they offer a frame-mounted variant, and one that mounts on the TLR7 sub. So whatever your preferred way to mount your compensator is, on your PX4 you do have those 3 options. When it comes to all other pistols, they do make them for obviously the Glock pistols, the SIG P320/M18, and the Archon Type B, but they only make it for the X300A when it comes to mounting it on those pistols. Now, a lot of the first impressions people have when I show them this compensator is the fact that it's not very visually appealing. A lot of people, when they think of compensators, they think of something that makes your gun look cooler, that makes your gun look more aesthetically pleasing, and this guy doesn't really do that. It doesn't look bad. I don't think it looks terrible, but some people I know think it looks downright ugly. And I can appreciate that. I can understand that. To me personally, I care more about performance than anything else, and visuals and aesthetics come second. But if you're someone that really cares about the visuals and aesthetics of your pistol, then this compensator may not be for you. Now, visuals aside, how does this compensator work? Well, it's very simple. It simply bolts onto your X300 in place of the standard light rails that the X300 has to mount onto your frame rail of your pistol, and then the metal is a one-piece design that connects all the way to the compensator itself right here, which has a hole and a vent to vent out gases to help reduce and fight recoil. Now, this actually has several benefits beyond just being a compensator. The first benefit is it locks in place a lot better. A standard X300 does lock in place fairly well on a pistol, but there's quite a bit of wobble to it. You can see it kind of flexing around and wobbling on the pistol. But when I mount it with the VP Armory rails, it locks in place. It is not going anywhere. It's as if you're using one of the B models of the X300. This only mounts to the A models, but the B models are an actual tightening screw that locks onto the frame. The A model of the X300 is that quick disconnect system that notoriously a lot of people don't like because it is a little bit wobbly on pistols. But with the VP Armory rails that are metal, it locks in no problem. So I would actually like to see VP Armory sell just the rails on their own. I think that would be very successful for them because it very much improves the mounting of the X300. Now, another benefit it has is as a standoff device. Now, obviously, the X300 itself acts as a standoff device. If I push my X300 into an object, it is not going to push it out of battery because it is not pushing the slide, so it gives off that standoff. But even with a X300, if I'm at a weird angle and I'm pushing into something, I could normally knock my pistol out of battery by pushing the slide. However, with the VP Armory comp, I cannot push this gun out of battery whatsoever because the compensator is not attached to the barrel. So even if my compensator is pressed up against something, I'm not going to be able to knock this gun out of battery. Something else I really like about the VP Armory compensator is it takes your Glock 19, 19X, Glock 45 length slide and brings it to the length of a Glock 17. Meaning holster compatibility. So I can take this VP Armory comp and put it in basically any Kydex custom fitted holster for a Glock 17 of an X300 and it will fit in the holster. Even some duty holsters like this Safariland level 2 duty holster, I can put this guy in here and it will fit in no problem. It locks in, it's secured. However, there is one holster that I've tried, one duty holster that I do really like that the VP Armory comp does not work in, and that is the Alien Gear Rapid Force duty holster. I go to insert it in and it won't go down all the way, it won't go in place. The reason it won't go in place is because at the front of the Rapid Force, you have this bridge here where it actually has a bolt that holds the end together and it separates the chamber where the light is and where your slide and barrel is. On the VP Armory compensator, you have obviously the compensator attaching to the light, and so there's this material here where the light and the compensator meet. and that can end up interfering with the design of the Rapid Force and some other holsters on the market. So just keep that in mind depending what holster you're running. If you're running something like the Rapid Force Duty holster, obviously some people don't like the design visually, but when it comes to functionality, that is one of the issues of the design, is if you're running this compensator, it may not work in some holsters. Now, while this compensator might have some negatives in terms of its visual aesthetics and holster compatibility, its biggest pro comes from the fact that it's 50 state compatible. Because there is no threaded barrel or any barrel at all that needs to be utilized, or any special barrel that needs to be utilized for this compensator to work, this simply mounts onto the pistol. This requires no modification of your pistol. This requires no changing of your pistol's internal components or how it functions. So potentially even for people that work at special agencies and departments that will not allow them to make any pistol modifications but allow accessories on the pistol, this is not a modification to the pistol. So if you're in military or law enforcement or something like that and you use the Glock pistols or the P320/M18 pistols, you can throw this on your Glock pistol and it does not make any modifications or changes to the internal function of your pistol. So it's not going to affect your reliability, and it's not going to violate any policy saying you can't touch the internals of a pistol. As long as your agency or your division or your branch or whatever you work for or your company allows you to make modifications to accessories, so lights and optics and stuff like that, well, like I said, this does not affect the overall design of the pistol, so I can throw on this VP Armory compensator, and it's no different than me throwing on a Surefire X300. Now, aesthetics and design and feature set is important for a compensator, but the most important feature of a compensator is its performance. Does it give a noticeable difference in the recoil of the pistol? And the short answer, yes, it does make a difference. However, how much of a difference does it really make between running it versus just a standard X300? Well, that's a little bit different. I think it is, like I said, it is noticeable. You do notice that it is making a difference in your recoil impulse. It does help, but even when I was running this compensator and this X300 on a Glock 19 versus no compensator and no light on that same Glock 19, I was only seeing a couple tenths of a second of difference in a bill drill back to back with that same pistol. So like I said, it's noticeable, there is a difference, but it's not a major difference. It's not the same level of difference that I saw running the Agency Arms Sage Dynamics compensator versus running a Glock 17. Now, obviously this had some benefits over something like the Sage Dynamics compensator, like I spoke on earlier, the fact that it's 50 state compatible and the ease and the cost of the compensator. But I think inherently due to its design, the fact that the barrel does not connect to the compensator itself, and the fact that it does not have a traditional expansion chamber, it's basically just a hole with a vent on it, I don't think this is doing as much as a traditional compensator can be doing, or even some other innovative compensators like the Ramjet Afterburner. So while at the end of the day, it is a noticeable difference, I don't know if this is worth it, because not only is it hard-earned money you're going to be spending, but it's only going to work on the X300, and it's only going to work on Glock 19, 19X, and Glock 45 pistols. So if you want to run it on your Glock 17, it's not going to work. You want to run it on your Glock 34, it's not going to work. You want to run it on your Glock 26, it's not going to work. It's only going to work on this slide length pistol, and it's only going to want to work on this light. Now, they are working on a Glock 43X variant for the TLR7 sub. I saw it at SHOT Show, but that has not come out yet, and I don't know when that will be coming out. So as of now, there's really only one option for Glock pistols, and unless you're running a PX4 where they do have multiple options available, even if you're running it on the P320 or the Archon Type B, you once again only have one option in terms of pistol length and one option when it comes to your light. So I think for how niche of a product it is, I just don't feel like it's worth it. I would much rather just go and get one of the Radiant Ramjet Afterburners or the Agency Arms compensator, or just get my pistol ported, or even better, just use that money on ammunition and training and make myself a better shooter. All right, guys, so those are my thoughts on the VP Armory Glock compensator for the X300. I know it was not the most positive review ever. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's a bad product. I think it has some interesting features, but it's not a super noticeable difference in terms of recoil mitigation. And it's a very niche product. It only works on certain variants of pistols and only on one variant of light. So if you don't want to run the X300, or you don't want to run this variant of the Glock or the variant of the P320 or the Archon Type B that they sell it for, obviously your options are going to be limited. So if you are someone who runs the X300 religiously on your Glock 19X pistol, then perhaps this would be a good option for you, especially if you are in one of those states that does not allow for a threaded barrel compensator, or you simply don't want to spend the money on a full compensator system and this would be more affordable for you. Then I think you are the target audience. But otherwise, for the average individual, I think there's better options out there. Alright, if you liked seeing my thoughts and opinions and you enjoyed the video on the VP Armory Compensator, then go and leave a like down below. If you think this compensator is uglier than sin and I did a disservice to the gun community and God himself by making a review on this thing, then go and leave a dislike down below. Otherwise, guys, head in the comments. Let me know what you think of the VP Armory Compensator. Have you seen one in person? Have you gotten to try one out? Do you own one? Let me know in the comment section down below. Otherwise, guys, I'm releasing new videos every Saturday, so subscribe and stay tuned.